Hey guys, I'm back to talk a little bit more about working abroad as a mining industry professional for financial and lifestyle benefits. If you saw my last video, you know that I kind of deep dived the differences in the mining engineer salaries and the real cost of living. And I focused on Australia, Malaysia, and Indonesia because that's where I have first-hand experience. And I finished that video by saying that money is just part of the story, and it is. If you haven't seen that video yet, don't panic. There's a link to it down in the description notes below. And I understand that money is most often the biggest driver to working abroad or to wanting to work abroad at least. But I want to dive into the non-financial aspects of working overseas because there's a lot more to an international career than just the paycheck. It's about culture, lifestyle, growing your skills as a professional, but also personal development. And it all matters. And to be honest, there are some pretty serious challenges in there. Living in a new country, as I've experienced myself on several occasions, it means fully stepping into a totally different culture. And that can feel exciting. But sometimes it can be really uncomfortable too. It isn't a choice for the faint-hearted. It does take bravery, it does take resilience, but the rewards for moving past that discomfort are well worth it, in my opinion. You get to experience the culture, the customs, the festivals, the food, a highlight, and the way daily life is lived in a way that you will never see as a tourist. But you can also encounter language barriers, cultural misunderstandings, and a whole lot of homesickness. I remember when I first started working overseas, I would have plenty of conversations with people, and I understood the words mostly, but I didn't feel connected to who I was talking to at all. These people saw things a completely different way to me, and they had completely different priorities in their life. It felt really lonely. That's being very honest. Look, I'm an introvert, and that's pretty lucky because fitting in and having a large sort of social network of people around me, it's not so important for me. So over time, I grew, I changed, and I came to see the world differently myself. Now I have the same problem, feeling less connected, but that's when I go back home. I outgrew my previous life. It takes time and patience to adapt. But you can change your perspective and you can learn to appreciate totally different ways of living. But this difficulty in returning home, it's something I have heard many people talk about. You should be prepared for it, or it can be a really disorienting experience. And let's talk about professional development. From a career point of view, expat experience is gold. Literally, it's the recipe to make money. The working abroad aspect exposes you to different work cultures, can be different technologies, wider networks. Networking is important. You learn flexibility, problem solving, and cross-cultural communication. These are skills that employers value super high. It's not actually about getting more technical skills, although you most likely will. It's about seeing the world from a different angle. You see more, you understand more, and you bring more value to your role. You tend to make better decisions. They're more educated decisions. And there's no doubt that having international experience or expat roles on your resume signals that you're adaptable and ready for global opportunities. It will open doors, and jobs and promotions that you never thought of will start becoming available to you. And all of this comes from a place of personal growth. I've already been talking about this throughout this whole video so far, but to me, this was the biggest change from working overseas: personal growth. Some of the biggest changes happen inside. Living and working outside of your comfort zone, whether that's internationally or not, it builds self-confidence and independence. You become more open-minded and more resilient. Yes, it can be tough. Lonely moments, culture shocks, and missing family. But these challenges help you grow as a person, and they make you stronger, more empathetic, more understanding to other people. I'm lucky. I have spent my entire career watching other people go through this transition of working abroad. I've done it myself. I've seen people experience the highs and the lows. Look, my heart has gone out to so many people when they talk about wanting to give up and go home. I think we all have that crisis moment at least once, where we decide it's too much, it's too hard, and it's in that moment you see how strong you really are and whether you have what it takes to hang in there and see it through. The ones who do are forever changed. They're stronger, more resilient, and they're calmer when facing future challenges. They know what needs to be done. They just get it done. The quiet confidence that you earn from doing these roles will change the way you are seen in the workplace. It's a skill you cannot buy or learn in a university. I hope I haven't terrified anyone, but I'm a strong believer that knowledge is power. If you have some idea of the challenges ahead and the rewards it's going to bring, then you're more likely to know what to do when that crisis moment hits. Not everything is rosy. Some days, or weeks, or months, you'll feel isolated and disconnected. You may struggle with local bureaucracy or feel like an outsider of work. It can be tricky trying to balance two cultures, and it's especially hard if you're trying to support a family remotely or you're trying to battle those visa hurdles that pop up always. It is important to be mentally prepared, and I think the most overlooked aspect is to have support systems in place. People that can help, people that can lend you an ear when you need to vent how awful it feels, and who are going to just say, yep, and you help you pick you up and get you back on the way. Look, I think everyone has to make that decision for themselves should they pursue working abroad. If you want career growth, if you want enriched life experiences, if you want a broader worldview, absolutely, no hesitation, yes. But it will require effort, flexibility, resilience, and most of all, patience. Patience with the process and patience with yourself. For mining engineers or anyone in the mining industry, adding that expat experience can truly unlock huge career doors. It did for me. I've seen it happen for other people. And for me, this is worth much more than the change in the paycheck. So if you think this is something that you would like to think about doing, maybe test yourself, see what you're made of. The next big question is how? I mean, how do you get these opportunities and what do you need to do differently if you've been trying and it isn't working? And that will be my next video. I will look at what you need to do a little bit differently if you want to unlock the doors of international resume writing and job applications. How do you present yourself? What's the difference? I will see you there.